From early in the morning until late at night, Bangkok is alive with tens of thousands of stalls, shops, and restaurants serving bowls of noodles. It's a category that might be overshadowed by flavorful curries and fiery somtam, tom yum soup, and pad kapow. But to live here is to be surrounded by chefs making noodles in countless different ways, and everyone has their own personal favorite, their daily breakfast, late-night snack, or anytime comfort food, and we're no exception. Today, in honor of OTR's 100th video, our team is showing off our own personal favorites, visiting our old neighborhoods and stopping by to see family, traveling across the city on one specific mission, to show each other and you the very best noodles in Bangkok.
All right, so we were just having this conversation pretty recently about which places, since we started the channel, have I never been able to work into a video that I've wanted to show off, and it turns out that most of mine are places that serve noodles. It's just not a topic that we get into very often, and so started talking, and we decided for it's our 100th video, right? So we can have some fun with this one. We're gonna go to. Thankfully, my two favorite noodle places that we've never shown before on the channel are right next to each other. So we're going to start there. Dennis, who's Thai, Carol, who lived in Bangkok for, a dozen years, they're going to show us their favorite noodle places. Daria is going to join us later, and she's going to take us to her favorite places for noodles, and we're just going to do a little noodle crawl of Bangkok. It is our 100th video, and so we're just going to noodle around for a while.
Alright, before we dive in and start our mission, before we get to our first bowl of noodles, let's talk about the category here and honestly all across the region. Because unless you live in Asia, you probably know that noodles are popular, but you might not have considered just how essential they really are. Think about so-called Asian food, the stuff you see on TV. Well, a lot of that is honestly just for special occasions. In Beijing, you don't go out for roast duck on your lunch break, but you might grab a bowl of jiajiang mian. In Sumatra, beef rendang might be a delicacy, but it's mi goreng sold on every corner. Noodles are a massive part of the cuisine from the Malaysian tropics to the highlands of Bhutan, from Taiwan to Korea to right here in Bangkok. In this one city, well, cooks make their own versions of pad thai and pad siu. There are boat noodles, drunken noodles, and the legendary tom yum mama noodles. They come with wontons and homemade fish balls, with crispy pork or spicy green curry, or deep fried and slathered in gravy. Noodles can be thrown into somtam, eaten as a dessert, or as breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And late at night on the way home, well, what else would you think to get? Noodles are made for the masses, fast, affordable, and packed with flavor. The city's comfort food and the stuff that gets Bangkok through the day. And while we could keep going, well, there would be no time left to eat. So let's get started and find our breakfast. A perfect bowl of kway teow is deceptively simple. Noodles, broth, and some kind of extra, fish balls or cuts of pork or stuff like wontons. But when each component is absolutely perfect, well, you put those things together and the end result is magic. The shop here in the first floor of a family home in Bangkok's Old Town has been serving patrons bowls of their perfect specialty since 1956. Or much longer if you include the days when this was a street cart, selling egg noodles with crab meat to the VIPs heading into work at the Ministry of the Interior. That was the building constructed in 1892 that would become a power center of Bangkok. Their mission on orders from King Rama V was to unify Siam, to take what was a loose collective of tributaries and reinvent the country, mapping out the districts, provinces, and borders that would become what we call Thailand. Anyway, with so many important people going to work in this department, palace chefs set up shop outside, introducing mainstream Bangkok to food meant for the elite. There was the first ever mango sticky rice shop, the first ice cream store, and the first sriracha factory. And of course, there were noodles made exactly like they're still made today.
Sawadee มาทานที่ร้านบะหมี่แพ่งพุทธรนะคะ มีเกี๊ยว มีหมูแดง มีบะหมี่ปูค่ะ มาทานได้นะคะ
All right, it's our first location of the day, so forgive me, because before I start doing our introduction, I'm going to take a bite. I'm going to talk about the noodles in just a second. But, you know, after more than 2.5 years and 100 videos now of doing this, the most rewarding thing for us is that some of the places that we've been able to spotlight, you know, it has brought in a business. And I know, you know, I keep meeting people who have gone to places that we've recommended on the channel. You know, 2 years ago when we did that mussel noodles video, which is one of my favorite ones we ever did, we actually were kind of debating whether that was, the focus was going to be that shop or this one, which is one of the other last remaining homemade egg noodle places in Bangkok, where every noodle is made from scratch every day. And, you know, and in the end, the story of mussel noodles was really compelling, and we did that one, but 2 years later, we still never found an excuse to come here and shoot. And I always feel really guilty about it, because you look around and like, there are so many, you know, Bangkok is a breakfast noodle city. That's what you eat here. You know, the morning is egg noodles or something similar with wontons, you know, red pork. You know, but this is just such a higher level than all the ones that are really popular and famous. We're 400 meters away from the Grand Palace. You know, we're in such an amazingly kind of well-known area, but down this quiet alley and nobody knows this is here. This shop has been serving this dish since 1956. So we're a year away from their 70th anniversary, which is wild. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about food. Egg noodles, crab meat, wontons, homemade red pork. Their egg noodles are softer, less al dente, especially in the soup, than some of the ones that we've shown you before, but it really works with a delicate kind of crab flavor. So good. I'm gonna be done by the time we finish rolling tape. I thought I'd have a couple of bites for the camera, but like I'm almost done.
All right, now, just because the neighborhood outside the Ministry of the Interior introduced Bangkok to ice cream and mango sticky rice doesn't mean this was the first place you could find a bowl of really good noodles. Ever since the first Chinese traders arrived in Ayutthaya, noodles have been a part of the local food scene. And actually, it goes back even farther when you include kanamjin, fermented rice noodles from the ethnic Mon. But the 1890s under Rama V, when this was all constructed, well, in terms of noodles, that decade was important in one very significant way. As commerce in Thailand moved from water to land and the country began to modernize, people in huge numbers shifted from subsistence farming to going to work in offices and factories. Before those years, food was generally eaten at home, each culture favoring their own traditional specialties. But in the new economy, it would be Chinese vendors who set up street carts and restaurants, and they created a brand new category called Thai fast food. At first, they sold their own dishes, stir-fries, soups, and of course, noodles. But to appeal to the local palate, they would make adjustments, giving us stuff like pad kapow and chicken with cashew. And to stand out, every vendor put their own spin on classic styles of noodles, in time evolving in 1,000 new directions. Almost the entire spectrum of Thailand's most beloved noodles first show up in the generation starting in 1890. And while a few dishes would go mainstream, most recipes would become specialties of just individual neighborhoods. And that's where they're still hiding today. So here's the point. While some dishes like kway teow have become ubiquitous, a whole lot more remain secrets. And it's the one category where everyone here in Bangkok might know something you don't. And that brings us to today's idea. Here's what we're doing with the rest of our shoot. Each of us from the OTR team has had our own experiences in this city. We've lived or worked or grown up in different parts of town, and since noodles are the ultimate comfort food, the most beloved everyday staple, well, we're all going to choose one place that we want to show off. Our own favorite that connects with us. The one plate of noodles we can't live without and miss the most when we're not here. And I'm up first, so let's get into it. I found my favorite noodle shop in my first days in Bangkok, having a walk along a canal in the heart of Old Town. I take no credit for discovering this place. Apparently, if you live here and you know food, you know Aunty Pien and her ridiculous, incredible kwa gai, or flat noodles with chicken. The reason we stopped for a plate was simple. A guy eating here flagged us down and told us we'd be idiots if we didn't try a portion. And since that guy was Anuson Tancharon, one of Thailand's most famous food authorities, we listened, and thank goodness for that. It might not look like much, but every bowl is a masterpiece. Noodles pan-fried in brass woks at a high temperature, with egg, red pork, house seasonings, and 2-day marinated chicken. It's all cooked in homemade lard instead of oil. And the rendered bits of pork fat, well, they get thrown in, too.
เริ่มจากที่ป้าขายไม่ไหวไงป้าขายไม่ป้าก็ให้ขายต่อแล้วก็เริ่มต้นมาเลย50 ปีเลย
ครั้งแรกก็แต่งมาเป็นสะพ้ายมาเป็นสะพ้ายที่นี่แล้วทีนี้พอช่วยงานพอรู้ว่าทำยังไงคือแล้วก็พอดีป้าแกอายุมากเท้าก็จะไม่ค่อยไหวการทำงานยากก็เลยถ่ายทอดให้แล้วพี่แกก็เป็นคนจัดการทำแล้วก็เปลี่ยนแบบไปเรื่อยแต่ก่อนนี้จะเป็นกระป๋องบะหมี่เกี๊ยวอะไรจะเป็นแบบนี้ถ้าก่อนนี้จะเป็นแบบนี้แล้วใช้คั่วเอาแล้วก็ทีนี้ก็พัฒนาใหม่มาได้กระทะทองเหลืองเนี่ยจะเก็บความร้อนได้ดีกว่าตัวนี้มันจะติดกับหม้ออันนี้จะไม่ติดแล้วก็ใช้น้ำมันน้อยกว่าสมัยก่อนเนี่ยจะใช้น้ำมันเยอะเส้นมันจะมันแต่มารุ่นหลังใช้กระทะทองแดงมันความร้อนดีก็เลยไม่ค่อยมันลูกค้าก็เลยติด
ใส่ใจทำไง ตั้งใจทำแล้วทำให้ดีที่สุด
All right, a bowl of soup noodles, like what we started with this morning, that is Bangkok breakfast. You have to start with something like that. but now the day is getting serious. This is my favorite, not just noodle shop, this might be my favorite place in Bangkok that we've never had a chance to film before. I've recommended this to viewers. I've put this on our Discord. We come here a lot off the air, but never filmed here, and today's shoot is kind of an excuse for me to finally bring you guys along. This is the legendary Aunty Pien. She has been making these noodles here for 51 years, right on the canal, and let me just talk you through this bowl. So the overwhelming flavor, before I explain what's in this, there's this Chinese concept called wok hei, which literally translates to the breath of the wok, which means when you stir fry something perfectly, you should get a flavor that the wok imparts to it. Most of my life, including most of my time in China, I have believed that concept was nonsense. It's just something that's in your head. But then you try this, and that's what it is. This is like this whole idea of something tasting like it's been cooked in a well-seasoned wok. That's this. It's really just, I don't know the words for this. It's like savory. There's not that much other than this amazing taste of smoke, meat, and like, so let me tell you what's in this. So I get mine with the senyai, the wide rice noodles. There is chicken, which is marinated in seasoning. We have amazing homemade crispy pork, so there's just big chunks of mu grab in here. There is the mu dang, so the red pork, and when she roasts the red pork, they hang it up, right, as it's roasting, and they collect the fat drippings, and then there's garlic that's soaked in the oil from the red pork, and they just ladle that on top. It is one of the best bowls of noodles anywhere, and it's shocking that we've never found a way to film here before. It's such a complex flavor, and it's so mild that the first time I came here, this is one of those places where chefs know this restaurant, right? Like, this is one of those if you know kind of places. And the Bangkok food community, everybody knows this place. But on the tourist trail, it's not as well known. The first time I came here, I remember, oh, there's egg stir-fried in this too. I almost didn't get it. It's like the flavor's just too complex. And I remember I was expecting something that was more like the kway teow kwak gai kind of, crispy noodles, which we may or may not see later. But it took me a while. This is the expression I was making the first time I tried it. Like, it's so smoky, rich in just full kind of meaty flavor, just full of textures, and it's a really unique style of noodles that you can find in Bangkok, but here it's just done at a really high level. And I remember waking up a few weeks later and just being like, that random weird bowl of noodles that I had, I really want that again. And we came back here again, and then this sort of became a monthly routine. Let me chase that amazing first bite of noodles with just a big chunk of crispy pork. Sitting next to the canal, this incredible plate of noodles, this atmosphere, the master working the wok, and yeah. I don't even have a follow-up. You guys need to eat.
All right, as we head to our next destination, let me introduce you to the rest of our team, the crew that works backbreaking hours to put our stories together, and our panel for selecting the next 3 bowls of Bangkok's best noodles. Dennis Natreon is our director. coordinating the visuals of each of our stories and giving our videos their distinctive look, from his expertise in lighting and shot composition to his signature drone work. Dennis's videography has been featured in media from Vice to the New York Times and UNESCO, and his passion projects have included documentaries showcasing Southeast Asia's marginalized people, most recently shooting on the front lines of Myanmar's civil war. Dennis grew up in a Thai family operating a restaurant in the United States. He came back to Bangkok in 2012 to enroll in film school, and that's where he met Carol Arau, a native of the Philippines who would join OTR a short time after Dennis, coordinating production and adding her own talent to our cinematography. Carol's own background in filmmaking has included work with DW, Reuters, and Channel News Asia, and among other roles with OTR, she's our chief editor, bringing my scripts to life and polishing hours of footage into a final product. And then there's Daria Berdinskaya, my partner and the co-founder of OTR. Daria has come along on most of our shoots, and off-camera she scouts for locations, represents the channel in the community, and runs our social media. Like myself, Daria has a long background in F&B, running a China-based marketing consultancy that focused on restaurants, including 3-star Michelin fine dining. That's our team. And for the rest of the afternoon, we're gonna switch roles, and it's their turn to pick where we're going and what we're eating next.
So how did you get started in film?
How did I get started in film? I think I developed an interest back when I was about 12 or 13 years old. I started with photography first, and then when I got to college, I started to kind of drift towards film. Found that it's a little bit more challenging. I like editing as well, I like filming. So then now, I'm doing documentaries, and I think that's my favorite thing to film is documentaries. I tried a bunch of different things like fashion, nature, all that, but I think documentaries is.
You've done a lot of different sides of documentaries. When I first was trying to recruit you, you were on the front lines of the civil war in Myanmar.
Yeah.
And I convinced Carol to tell you not to get shot.
Yeah.
Food is safer.
Food's safer.
But is it cool for you to be able to kind of come here and show off places that are meaningful to you, especially your grandparents is right around the corner,
Yeah.
and this is kind of what you were eating when you come here to visit them and then living here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like they live, about 100 meters from this restaurant, and it's kind of one of the places that everyone around this area goes to, and this restaurant, the name Kway Teow Wat Dong Mun Lek, it's more of a brand now. I would say this is one of the original restaurants, but if you go to other places in Bangkok, you'll see
Thank you very much.
restaurants with the same name, but it's not that they're related. It's more of like a brand now.
Yeah.
So
And so what I'm seeing is with noodles, which I guess these look like senlek, so they're like thin rice noodles.
yeah, so thin rice noodles. You can order it with flat noodles, with banh mi, with white mee noodles, sen lek as well, and it's a different combination of different cuts of beef. You have beef balls, you have the braised beef.
We got liver, we have
we have
heart,
liver.
we have this broth, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
But also, when you guys were taping your B-roll, I was just checking to see what was on this table. In these two bowls in front of me, there's sugar, which who cares? But then this looks like kind of almost like a green chili sambal kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is like this is really good. I would just come here with my cousins after like a night of drinking and just tear up like 2-3 bowls.
That's really good.
Yeah.
When's the last time you were here?
Oh man. 7 or 8 years ago.
This is
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is good, and the reason why it's a hangover cure is there's just that little hit of spice at the end.
Yeah.
Oh man, the liver is so good. Okay. Oh, I forgot to add the green chili.
Right.
All right. That was a big oversight. I almost finished this already. I'm finishing everything in
I
like
want to get it a little
2
bit.
bites, but if I forgot to add this, oh, you can smell it.
It's strong, man. It's sour.
Oh, that changes this
Yeah.
completely. That just opens it up so much more. Yeah, no, that's the correct way to
It's
eat
like,
this, is add a big spoonful of that.
It's like the pickled peppers that like in Alaska, but they blend it. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
yeah, vinegar,
Vinegar,
pickled chilies, yeah.
Pickled chilies.
Wat Dong Mun Lek beef noodles is a completely different side of the category than the two places we visited this morning. The specialty is meaty and savory. And just like the Michelin-rated Wat Tan Panet, well, their stock has been boiling for more than half a century. The leftovers at the end of each service held over as the base for the following day. But there is one similarity between here and our previous stops, which is that within its neighborhood, it's an institution. Third-generation cooks serving third-generation customers, and it's been part of the fabric of Wat Dong Mun Lek since Dennis's great-grandparents first arrived from China and made Bangkok home.
This restaurant was founded by my grandfather. At first, there was no restaurant. He carried around noodles and sells before he got a restaurant. Yeah, and after maybe some years before 1954, he carried around noodles and sales, and so after he got some revenue, he rents a place near Wat Dong. Yeah. At first,
Was it this spot or close to here?
yeah, close to it.
Okay.
It's Wat Dong Mun Lek or Dong Mun Lek Temple. Okay. At first, there was no name. Just a noodle restaurant near Wat Dong. So people just tell them that's the noodle near Wat Dong. So that's why here comes the name Wat Dong Mun Lek beef noodle. Anyway.
And this is your grandmother
Yeah, this is my grandmother.
right behind us
Yeah.
right now. So she's seen this since the beginning.
Yeah, she was here since the beginning. She was there at Wat Dong since the beginning.
So tell me about the noodles that you guys are making. Tell me what we just ate. The really special sort of broth, especially.
Yeah, the broth, we have some secret ingredients, and we boil it since 6 a.m. and we use it tomorrow. We start boiling since 6 a.m. and it starts simmering, and after afternoon we use it with the one with the previous day.
And you do that every day.
Yeah.
So this broth has still been going
Yeah.
for a very long time.
Yeah.
But what is how would you explain this to somebody? Because again, if you see it, and people are watching this on camera, you look at it and the color of it, it looks almost like boat noodles, something like that, but the taste is very different.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the taste? Because I'm not very good at that.
This broth, my grandparents, they developed this recipes different from other Thai noodle restaurants. When you taste it, it's gonna have some sense that you smell that different because of the ingredients. And one special is the fermented chili. Yeah, this one.
This was incredible.
Yeah.
This is so
This
good.
is secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mix of chili, many chilies and other materials and ingredients, and the special vinegar.
So you grew up in this family.
Yeah.
So you've been eating this since you were born.
Yeah.
Are you bored of it, or do you still like it?
I enjoy it every day. I eat it every day. This is my life. This restaurant, not just some place I grew up. This is part of my life. It's in my blood. This place is called Wat Dong Mun Lek Beef Noodle. I really like to recommend all of you guys who's watching, let's try the original one. And I can guarantee it, you will never find anything like this.
So Dennis delivered with his noodle recommendation. What are we doing next?
We are going to our secret Khao Soi restaurant. I cannot describe where it is. We had just found it by just literally walking around La Prao. It's one of those mom and pop shops where like they don't advertise, you don't know anything about them, and they just cook amazing food for you.
So we're gonna drive all the way to the other side of the city from Dennis's grandparents' place where he first moved in Thailand to your most recent Bangkok neighborhood.
Yes.
To find your favorite Khao Soi restaurant. Okay,
Yes.
all right, pressure's on. We have 3 big wins so far, so excited for the next one.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, this is Carol's turn in the spotlight, but as we're driving, I need to give a bit of context, because you can't just casually drop in the name Happyland without a bit of explanation. The quick version of the story starts in 1973 with the opening of Thailand's first ever outdoor amusement park, built during construction as the kingdom's answer to Disneyland. But the reason you've probably never heard of it before is that right from the beginning, there were problems. The rides were badly constructed and quickly fell apart, sometimes during operation. Power was unreliable, a lot of people got injured, and within just a few months, rumors spread that the park was haunted, and local children stayed away because of the ghosts said to hunt for souls. By 1979, Happyland was no more, demolished, and in its place a residential neighborhood which kept the same name. Now, maybe it was because of the reputation, or simply the fact that it's so far from downtown, but rent would stay extremely cheap. Happyland, the district, not the theme park, would become a draw for young professionals, like Dennis and Carol, who set up a studio here after film school, and also for migrant workers and cooks from all corners of Thailand, which is why apparently it's a hidden paradise for food.
Okay, well, it feels like we're towards the end of a shoot, and we're not even halfway done with this this noodle mission today. Carol, who's the other half of our production, I don't know, dad and mom. Carol and Dennis, you know, celebrity couple names with like Brangelina. You guys would be what? Daryl?
Daryl.
Daryl? Okay, so first of all, thank you for bringing us to one of you guys' favorite restaurants and the place that not only did you choose when I asked you to pick something for Noodles, but you said you've been waiting since you started helping out on the channel to show this place. We're in a house, and I'd love to pretend like, oh yeah, I knew all about, I had no idea that this was here. I didn't know this street was here, much less this restaurant. Where are we? Tell me about this.
So this restaurant, I'm not sure how long it's been around, but this restaurant is in Bangkok area. It's off the road of Lap Prao, and it's hidden in some soy that we can't describe. There are no signs that point to this restaurant, and there's literally only one sign at the top here.
But if you check the top pinned comment in the comments below, the link will be there for Google Maps. So yeah, it's a Khao Soi restaurant. It's called Khao Soi Lanna, any Lanna restaurant. I asked if they had Khanom Jin Nam Niao, which is the like really rich, you know, tomatoey, bloody stew of the Lanna in northern Thailand. They have it here and it looks fantastic. But I'm gonna just move this closer to me so I can have that first little bite of Khao Soi. So you and Dennis, when I first met you, you were living close to here.
Yeah.
So this was a place that you guys would walk and have lunch frequently.
Yes, actually not frequently. Out of the 6 times we've come here, it has only been open twice. And we had come on different days of the week, and sometimes it'd just be closed and we can't have access to it. So this Khao Soi is probably one of the best Khao Sois in the Lat Prao area. It's very difficult. Like, we've lived in Lat Prao for about like maybe a total of 4 years. And there are only 2 Khao Soi places that we know of, and this is one of them.
Okay, so same thing I was asking Dennis, tell me your story. Where are you from? When did you get into making videos? Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I'm from Manila. I grew up in Manila, Philippines. I moved here at the age of 14 and started photography in school. In college, had a little bit more experience doing filming graduation ceremonies and like little videos that are for fun, for friends. Little films there, here and there. And then gradually, as I started working, I got into corporate and then eventually transitioned to video. We did a couple of huge projects together for a few media companies, and now we are here.
So we have Khao Soi with chicken, we have Khao Soi with beef, and we have the Khanom Jin Nam Niao. And I know I started at the beginning today by saying we probably won't even get to Khanom Jin, but thankfully we did. Khao Soi, if you're one of the last people who has never tried it, because it's the newest sort of Thai food sensation that's sweeping everywhere, is out of northern Thailand, most famously associated with Chiang Mai, but it's a dish that's connected to Burmese no Khao Soi. So it's anywhere along the Thai-Burmese border where you start to see this. The Thai version compared to the Burmese version is going to be a thinner broth, more coconutty. Their, you know, the signature crispy fried little nest of noodles that goes on top. Probably most commonly known as a chicken curry, but the beef, when you're in Chiang Mai, the beef version always gets the longest lines, and I'm really excited to try it here. How did you find this place in the first place?
Dennis and I had been living in this particular road for a year or two, and we were walking around just kind of finding the next restaurant to try, and then somebody at the top of this soy tipped us that this restaurant existed, and that's exactly how we found it.
Wow. This is my strategy, by the way, is just keep you talking so I can steal the food. Gonna steal a little bit of the chicken leg. So this is bowl of noodles number 4 of the day, and then we're gonna meet up with Daria after this, and she's got 2 planned. But Khao Soi, you take the curry. Normally you wouldn't, you just eat it from the bowl, but we're all gonna be sharing it. And then we have our pickled mustard greens, we have our sprouts, we have our shallots, and we have some lime. And I'm gonna mix this all together. Yeah, really pumped to be here. This is cool for me. This is both of the ones that you guys selected for us are places that I've never been before. And I think they're really happy to see us here.
All right, if you're not familiar with Khao Soi, let me very quickly tell you what this is. It's a coconut-based curry, served with egg noodles both fresh and deep fried. It can come with a variety of proteins, but the classic is chicken leg, and it's taken its place on Thai menus everywhere. It's rich and packed with aromatics like coriander seeds and stems, cardamom, turmeric, and chilies. Though when made right, Khao Soi isn't spicy. It's warming and comforting and just absolutely delicious.
I miss real Khao Soi. This is the first time I've had Khao Soi outside of Northern. There's a reason why 100th video on OTR. And I think it's the first time we've ever shown Khao Soi ever. Because it's not usually very good in Bangkok. This is worth the trip.
I think it's worth noting that this restaurant is a family-run business. It's mom and dad cooking.
It's their house
back there. Yeah. And this house is actually part of their family's house, just over here. So yeah, they get to open whenever they want.
ของเราจะใช้ส่วนผสมที่พี่สาวเขาคิดขึ้นมาเองแล้วก็ใช้ผงขมิ้นแทนผงกะหรี่ส่วนใหญ่ที่ไปทานที่อื่นจะเป็นผงกะหรี่นะคะเราใช้ผงขมิ้นเราเน้นไปทางสมุนไพรหมดเลยแล้วก็ส่วนผสมข้าวซอยเราก็ทำเองใส่มะแลดใส่พวกเม็ดพริกไทยเม็ดผักชีอะไรเงี้ยเข้าไปผสมกับน้ำพริกที่เรานะพี่สาวคิดขึ้นมาค่ะพี่สาวคือร่วมกันทำกับพี่สาวเพราะตอนนั้นพี่สาวเขาก็อยู่ว่างๆไอ้เราก็เกษียณออกมาอะไรเงี้ยค่ะก็ช่วยกันทำแล้วมีคุณแม่กับคุณน้าซึ่งเขาเป็นคนโบราณเนาะเขาก็จะช่วยกันคิดว่าเราจะทำยังไงข้าวซอยเขาทำเป็นนะคะก็สอนเรากับพี่สาวส่วนผสมเราก็คิดขึ้นมาเอง
All right, as we head back into the city, 4 meals down, I want to make sure we make one thing clear. The fact that we've been showing you our own favorite noodle shops doesn't mean our list should be treated as definitive, or honestly even considered at all. This is our 100th video, and maybe the most humbling part of having this channel has been seeing the way that you've responded to the places that we've filmed. It's made a massive difference to a lot of people. I could tell you stories for the next hour about what we've heard from the chefs we've covered, about how much their lives have changed thanks to your support. My favorite Isan counters expanded into a full-size restaurant. Chef Ga is now the biggest celebrity in Klong Toi, and Manel from Manel Lanka just put the last of her kids through college. Thank you. It makes this incredibly rewarding. But at the same time, our recommendations should come with an asterisk. We covered Manel Lanka because it's incredible, but so are 10 other restaurants on the same street that just didn't fit into our plan for filming. They deserve a visit as well. And that amazing Isan place, well, I only know it because it's close to my old neighborhood. I'm sure if we lived somewhere else, I'd have a different personal experience. When I say something's the best, all I really mean is it's the best I've found. But if you take every venue I've ever visited and combine it with Mark Weems, Gary Butler, and every single one of the Bangkok Michelin judges, I bet you together we've barely tried 10% of the 250,000 street carts and restaurants in just this one city. There's a good chance if you explore on your own, you'll find something better than anything we've ever identified. Better than anything in Michelin. Honestly, statistically, it's almost a guarantee. My point is this. Doing this story of our favorite noodle shops is about us just as much as the food. places we've lived and people we've met in our own versions of Bangkok. And the best thing you can do here or wherever you are is to get out and explore. Throw some business to the folks who work long hours, even if nobody else has noticed. And most of all, enjoy it. Food is personal. There is no right and wrong. Find what makes you happy, and if Michelin disagrees, well, Michelin. And that brings us to our next stop. Who says the 24-hour diner is just an American concept? Welcome to Lae Dee, the beating heart of the grocery store chain known as Foodland. Although it might be a beating heart with some clogged arteries. Here, the specialty is Thai-style comfort food in the most unapologetic form. Charming and always bustling, but most of all unequivocally delicious. And it's been a local institution for 53 years. So what is this hidden gem, hole-in-the-wall spot that you have found for us?
Tucked in the dark corner of Bangkok.
Yeah. This, I will pretend like I have never been here and had this before, but this is a very frequent
Foodland.
Foodland. This is your reward for finishing at the gym next door.
Pilates, burning 90 calories, eating 950 calories.
3 kinds of noodles. We got the pad siu, which is that's my order here. That's what I get. We have the pad kimao, the drunken noodles, and we have the lanna. So how would you explain Lae Dee?
Oh, I don't know. I think for the very first year in Bangkok, I passed by this place and was like, oh, that looks like, who would go there? And then I would find myself every lunch and dinner there for the next 3 years.
What do they have? Wine on tap?
Wine on tap, 150 baht for cabernet.
It's open 24 hours a day.
Espresso martini on tap as well, 120 baht.
It's a 24-hour place that's sort of like Thailand's Waffle House, kind of.
Yeah, they are open 24/7. They are for every kind of crowd possible.
I believe the name Lae Dee in Thai translates more or less to good and cheap.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like 90 baht. What is 90 baht? $3?
A little bit less, yeah.
Per dish? Yeah.
And this is the spot. This is, you want to, again, we used to look down on this like, oh, that looks like it's too foreign. I want the hole-in-the-wall place. And we come here and it's like, no, everybody comes here. This is like, I don't know. This is an institution. There's 20 of them now or something like that. There's one in Singapore, the first one ever that opened outside of Thailand. But yeah, I just Googled it. I just read that a few seconds ago. But you are making a beeline for which one first?
Okay, I'm gonna start.
So, again, I was talking to Dennis and Carol about this earlier. For those who are new to the channel,
This is Daria.
Who are you? Tell me your story.
Oh, I'm Daria. I can't call myself a Russian immigrant. It sounds so bougie in 19th century. Anyways,
You took the steamship across the ocean with your copy of War and Peace.
so I am Daria, a long-term expat in Asia for 15 years. A better half of our couple, better looking, better at speaking more languages, smarter.
All right, all these things are true, but We're gonna mute this. That's gonna be bleeped in the final edit. But yeah, came to China. We met in Beijing. You worked in the beer industry, and then in fine dining, and you also have a hospitality
Background.
in
Yeah.
F&B.
Never gonna work in hospitality again. That's enough. And yeah, and now chilling and living my best life in Bangkok.
So calling yourself a Russian immigrant wasn't bougie enough. Now you're chilling and living your best life in Bangkok.
Why are you gonna sue me for that?
Let's talk about noodles. This is a noodle shoot. Mostly when we go out for noodles, it's either for the channel where we're looking for like the best version of something, or breakfast. You get your soup noodles. That's what you eat in the mornings here in Bangkok. There's the crispy, what you call crack noodles.
Crack noodles,
right?
yes.
Which is the late night thing. But comfort food isn't something you usually associate with Thai food overseas. We think about Thai food as like, cow gang counters and bright colors and these vibrant dishes, and you don't think of it as comfort food like you would like a cheeseburger or something like that. This is kind of that category. Dennis, would you agree with that as a Thai person, that like this is comfort food in any sense, and
What was your question to me, Adam? It's like, how do you get carried away with your 5
just
minutes
got carried
monologue about noodles?
why don't you guys sit down and eat? We'll continue the conversation a little bit, but this is delicious. I'm getting full.
All right, with one more stop to go, I want to say thank you to all of you for helping us get to this crazy milestone. I remember way back when we filmed our first one, spending weeks trying to figure out how to turn raw footage into something watchable, and it never even made the channel. And if you told me back then that almost 3 years later we'd still be at it, I'd think you were crazy. Reaching 100 might have felt even more unlikely 6 months later when 24 videos in. We were so broke from taking on this crazy project that 2 of our shows, the ones on Hallmark and Kanamjin, well, those topics were chosen because we literally had like a $10 budget for what we could spend on food. And then 6 months after that, when, even though we were finally growing, the work became so overwhelming that I ended up in the hospital with exhaustion after 3 straight all-nighters trying to get another script finished. But 3 things would make all of this possible. First, of course, our viewers, especially those of you who support us on Patreon. You've literally saved this channel. Second, Daria for taking on enough extra work during that lean first year to give me some time to get this channel traction, paying our rent and bills when our view count was still somewhere in the single digits. And finally, of course, the rest of the team. As these guys, and Boris and Ian and the folks who came before, well, they grind. And unlike me, they do it all behind the scenes, without the accolades and recognition. If it wasn't for Dennis's brilliant videography or Carol's late-night edit marathons, my scripts would just be words on paper, and any achievement is very much about the group and not the individual. So with all of that said, it's fitting for our last noodle destination to be one we all chose collectively, or at least 3 of us who've been here before. One final high-calorie reward for a lot of hard work.
All right, so one of the fun things about doing this shoot today is that we have now been to 5 restaurants, and all 5 are places we've never shown before on the channel ever. 2 of them were places I've never been before. As we were leaving the last restaurant, the staff came up to us, Foodland, and they were like, wait a minute, we know you. We see you here all the time.
Not because of the channel.
Not because of the channel.
There,
You're just there. But the last place that we're going, where we're going to finish, is not a place that we are new to, and it's also the only place today that we have shown before. We've been here before 2.5 years ago in our Sriracha shoot. That was the only time that we ever, I think, filmed at this place, and the exact place that we filmed in the Sriracha shoot, I think, is not open yet. It opens in an hour, so we might eat at the other one. But what is this? You called it crack noodles.
I honestly even forgot. Aunty Pien, that's the name? I never call it by its name. It's crack noodles.
Okay, what is it? It's
cheap 40, 50 baht plate of noodles with deep fried noodles with egg and chicken.
And how did you find this? So this, I mean, we weren't like Marco Polo. It's in the Michelin Guide. It's a well-known place. But you were trying to convince me to come here for a long time when we moved to Bangkok.
Oh, so apart from all the reels and TikToks that I saw about street food in Bangkok, there was one, I think, like a 70-year-old German old tourist, and his blog that's been there since like the beginning of internet, and he loved that, and I trusted him way more than I trusted 20-year-olds, and I was just like, this place sounds great. And I pinned it, and we passed it several times and we could never go, and then once we went there and we fell in love.
I think it is the ultimate form of noodles.
That's
You guys you've had this before. You've been here before, yeah? This isn't new for the crispy kway teow kwa gai.
I have not.
It's like flat rice noodles cooked in pork fat with chicken and a runny egg on top, and that's all it is. And you just throw some sriracha on it, and it's god,
really
it's like
in Happyland.
that's the same dish that you were telling me about in Happyland. I am no longer in Happyland myself.
At some point in the 50 years after that first explosion in Chinese Thai street food, noodles took on their ultimate form. The same Chaozhou stir-fried flat noodles that evolved into the stuff we had at Aunty Pien's would eventually show up, according to legend in Talad Noi around the 1930s, like this. Fried in lard into a patty that's crispy on the outside, soft and chewy in the middle, with chicken, a touch of fish sauce, and a dash of light soy. There is no correct answer to what is the best plate of noodles in Bangkok. It's subjective and personal and impossible to quantify. But if you say it's this, well, we're not going to argue.
Daria, by the way, who has, since we sat down, has not been with us throughout part of this shoot today. So you're just like showing me options for, hey, do you want to eat here for dinner tonight? Like I can possibly think about any other food right now. Like, oh, this looks delicious.
Claypot rice.
I am not going to talk for long because this is one of those things that should be eaten straight out of the wok. The runny egg, you want to mix it in before it cools down. So I'm not going to make Dennis and Carol wait to eat theirs. I'm not going to make you wait to eat yours. Yeah, so crack noodles. This is the most addictive food you will see when you try it. Why it's called. You know. I mean, you're the one who gave it that nickname. Eat. Please don't wait for me. Go ahead. You can see it's like a disc. It becomes like one. I don't know. It's delicious noodles. Today's been a day of delicious noodles. 100 videos for the channel, guys. Dennis, Carol,
Daria.
Daria. It's been unbelievable. I'm so excited to be able to do this, to get to this point as Carol's rushing to get the egg as I break it. You know, every video has been just a complete, you know, I said it when we did our 1-year anniversary. It's like you get to live in a world for a week or 10 days or whatever when we've done it. Like we're less than 3 years in and 100 videos. So that means like every 10 days, it's been just a new world to live in where like you just immerse yourself in something like a place or a culture and a food, and you don't really get a chance to look back because you move on to the next video all the time. But yeah, thanks guys for everything, and both of your noodle recommendations today were absolutely spot on. How is the
Beautiful worlds of history and MSG. Almost everywhere.
that's what you could come up with as your the big emotional climax to the video? That's what you come up with? Cheers, guys. Enjoy your noodles. This is got to end with a bang, and this is like the pinnacle of noodle making.
Oh, you can make it a cliffhanger that the next video is going to be about MSG. Should we do it?
But it's not. The next video is going to be about Lake Toba.
I've been asking about it for a year.
We missed our chance. The MSG truck pulled up to one of the restaurants today. The Ajinomoto truck.
It's so good.
Guys, please eat while it's warm. This is the ultimate noodle. I challenge anybody anywhere to show me a noodle that can improve upon this. Daria, cheers.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Guys, seriously, please eat while it's warm. I hope you're still hungry.
Subscribe to the channel for more from OTR. Thank you so much to everyone who supports us on Patreon. It really helps to keep us going. Find links below to our Patreon and social media, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.